and welcome back to our next SAM.gov Bids Live episode number 59, where we walk through small business solicitations together on SAM.gov and answer your questions along the way so that you too can start bidding and winning contracts on SAM.gov for your small government contracting business. Today, we will be reviewing 5 small business solicitations that have pulled up on SAM that we will be jumping into in just a second. But if you are new here and you don't want to miss future SAM Bids Live episodes, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so that you can ask your questions live on future streams. I've recently just launched our free federal contracts masterclass for the new year. The link is down below. And in this masterclass, I answer the hot questions for free that many others make you pay for. And I also teach you the new rules of government contracting that you need to start playing by to be successful in this space. I highly recommend that you check that out. We've gotten a lot of amazing feedback. People saying, I can't believe that this is free. So you definitely want to check that out. And that's just go to govkidmethod.com and check the masterclass button that we have there. And lastly, if you're just starting out and you're wanting to middleman government contracts the legal way, our new book, Legal Middleman Method, is here and available. You can check this out at legalmiddleman.com/book. The book is a great fit for those who don't necessarily. Actually, the book is really, I'm going off script now. The book is great for everybody. The book offers something for everybody. It meets you where you're at, specifically those who are new in the space. But a lot of folks are like, Derek, I don't, know if I necessarily want to jump into middlemaning. I can self-perform or already have a business. The book also covers in a lot of detail our 5-step bidding process so that you can start submitting compliant offers. So the answer is, hey, Derek, is the book a fit for me? The book is a fit for everybody who's new in GovCon. There's something substantial to offer everybody. So yes, it is absolutely a fit. And it's very affordable. I wanted to have something priced that everybody can afford so that they can get into government contracting and start learning this stuff the right way, the compliant way, the legal way, but also give you very practical and actionable steps and examples to start moving forward to bid on contracts. Whether you want a middleman or you want to self-perform or you want to do some of both, like it's all good. So welcome everybody. And we are going to kick off the show. If you are live with us, let me know which state you're representing. Also, if this is your first time being with us live, let me know that this is your first live as well. So hello and welcome everybody. I'll go ahead and give you a sneak peek at the bids we're going to be looking at today. And then we will also touch in with the chat. So bid number 1 we'll look at is for park attendant services. Bid number 2, fire extinguisher inspection and testing. Number 3, we have hazardous waste removal. Number 4, we have key door entry upgrade. We also have ground services, 6 different locations in Indiana. So welcome everybody. Good morning, good afternoon. Thanks for hanging out with us. Hello, Lorraine. Good to see you. Lloyd Massengill out of West Palm Beach, Florida. Good to see you. The Shanty B, what's going on? How long does the book take? Currently, we're shipping on Tuesdays and Fridays at the end of the day before the post office closes. So depending on when you ordered your book, it either already went out or it'll be going out tomorrow. So for example, if you ordered later on the day of Friday or over the weekend, it'll be going out tomorrow. And then it's just whatever the standard postal delivery is. RMCB, hello, good to see you. We've got Jevius Terry. Where is the book? It's on the website, just legalmiddleman.com/book. I'll definitely put that in the chat. Stone Goat, what's going on? Out of Oregon, first time live. Good to have you. We've got Eduardo Tende, first time as well. Lots of first timers. Carolyn, Rupchan TV, good to see you. First time as well. Same for Angie Dixon. You made it. You made it. Shanty B is representing Florida. Don Pitts from Pennsylvania. Margaret Stevens out of Georgia, first time as well. A lot of first timer guys. Love to see it. Cashing Out with Nisi from Tampa. The book is great. It's easy to read and very informational. I ain't lying, guys. We hear it every single show. Everybody's really getting a lot of value from the book. Say 1 week in a couple of days. Okay, so the Shanty B, feel free to email us at support@govkidmethod.com. You will have also received a separate email with tracking. So when you guys order the book, you get a separate email with tracking so that you can track it. So I definitely, go to the tracking first, check that out. If there is some sort of like, after a number of days have passed, we can always issue a thing with the post office if it didn't actually get delivered, but we need to check the tracking first. So feel free to email us if you need more support with that. We got Jay Hani Carrera. Hello. What's going on, Najee? West Palm baby. Another live Monday. Ready to learn from Derek. Let's go. We got Desh Singh. How do I start government contracts for the military? I have contracts in Turkey with manufacturers of ammunition. Well, first you got to have an entity, so you got to have a business, and then you register that business with SAM.gov, and then you start bidding on contracts for your business. Can't wait to dive in the book. Thanks for all you do. Absolutely. You're going to love the book. You're absolutely going to love it. Darren from Chicago, first timer as well. Crime scene cleaner looking to work in contracting. I'd be curious to see if you're finding any contracts for that. That's an interesting niche. FYI, when you keep getting that circle icon, it means icon on the page means you're not logged into SAM.gov on the web page. You don't have to be logged in to view attachments. So that could be something that's going on, a contributing factor. But I know that you don't need to be logged in to view attachments. Like anybody can go to SAM and just view attachments. Just check tracking. My book is out for delivery. Okay, cool. Do you offer proposal writing for the middleman and how much to approach the sub? I don't offer proposal writing. Ordered my book. Awesome. Congrats. Yeah, my goal was to empower you guys to learn how to do this yourself. So I don't have any like in-house services where I kind of do it for you or a team or anything like that. My goal is really just to empower you all to learn how to do it yourself because it's going to be the cheapest and it's going to be the most, the highest return on the investment. Because if you know how to do it, then you can bring on a spouse, a business partner, an intern, and then teach them, right? And then you can, stay captain of the ship at the helm, steering things. And then you can delegate and start to task, depending on, the folks that you have on your team or people that you can reach out to. That seems to be the most common and organic way that I see small GovCon businesses growing. It's just too high of an overhead administrative expense, even if you can afford it, to start hiring GovCon proposal writers or whatever, or, hiring folks that are retired from GovCon or used to be on the other side of the fence. You bring them in as a consultant. You're going to invest 5 or 6 figures per year doing that. I mean, 6 figures plus, I should just say, not even 5. It'll be 6 figures plus a year to do that very often because you're not experienced enough to be able to get the most of what you need out of them. Their abilities may be great, right? But if you only know so much, you're not going to be able to squeeze, you get a lemon and you're not going to squeeze hardly any juice out of it. That's a very expensive thing. So I believe that you should learn how to do it yourself and then teach and train and grow your team that way. So let's go ahead and look at our first bid for park attendant services for USACE. I feel like we just looked at one of these recently. Small business set aside, a 721-211 NAICS code. This is due on the 29th. We've got some attachments here. Park attendant schedule. So looks like varying locations here. So we have one amendment, and it appears that this is the, whoa. What a crazy screen. All right, tech people, what's going on here? when I click on this, what is this screen? This is like a coding type dealio. Unauthorized. What about the rest of these attachments? Oh. doing it for all of them. All right, now I'm in troubleshooting mode. Last episode, what was the thing we had? The circle of death. We couldn't load the attachments in the browser, so we had to switch browsers. So I switched to Chrome, and mind you, I didn't log in on SAM on Chrome either, and that did fix it, which is why I was saying it may or may not be that. Yeah, Jesus. I am logged in this time. I am logged in. As I'm saying, you don't have to be logged in to view the attachments. Everything is just user error. Christopher Gray, where do you order the book? legalmiddleman.com/book. I also posted the link a little bit earlier in the chat too. But no, I actually, I'm signed in. It's giving me the option to sign out right now. So I'm signed in, and it's just taking me to the screen of death once again. So what I'll have to do is actually kind of sucks because I don't have these links saved. I open them in the browser. Try to open them in Chrome. So see, it opens right up in Chrome. No problem again. Yeah, I'll be the first one to say it's my piece of crap computer for sure. I have not liked this computer ever since day one that I've had it. But I really don't think that's it. So fire extinguisher inspection. Yeah, I just switched to Chrome. I was using Internet Explorer. I just switched to Chrome, and it fixed it again, just like last episode. I ran into a different problem, but the same solution fixed it. So it seems browser specific. I'm going to have to I don't know. I just cleared out my cache a week ago. Yeah, maybe uninstall, reinstall. Okay, so they're hitting us with a POP here March 1st through July. So, 4 or 5 months. Place performance is going to be, okay, I've actually been here, Mount Rainier National Park in Washington State. That's cool. Anybody visit Mount Rainier? So they want us to conduct testing and inspection on 350 to 400 portable fire extinguishers. Yeah, so this is fire extinguisher, what do they call it? Maintenance? Yeah, inspection and testing. That's what this is for. So 350 to 400 of those. So inspect, confirm, detect, determine. You can tell a lot just from the first words. Repair, recharge, certify, disposal. So they want a price for each one, and that's for the 350 to 400. For the multi-purpose extinguishers, for the water extinguishers, approximately 5 or less, they want a price for each. And then the lump sum will just be those two added together. Stone saying, I don't feel so bad when the newbies are pulling their hair out and the pros are having trouble. Don't know that I'm a pro, but I certainly have banked the hours. I'm probably getting closer to the 10,000 hour mark for sure. All right. They're hitting us with a price, experience, past performance, and this is for evaluations. So experience and past performance. So we talk about this sometimes. There is a difference. Experience is the work that you've done. Past performance is how well you did on it. Or in their definition here, they're saying is the measure of the degree to which the customers were satisfied in the past. And experience is more of like, what did you do? Job name, title, company, location, date, yada, yada. Price. So they're giving us a pretty straightforward breakdown in the evaluation factors. Not the instruction to offers here, but the evaluation factors. I don't even see an instruction to offers. So it's why we need to remain agile, light on our feet to be able to navigate these solicitations. Else you will not be submitting a compliant response. Instruction to quoters. So here they bury that deep down. Fill out a standard form SF18. Fill out the company info that they gave us. Acknowledge amendments. Be registered in SAM. Reps and certs. And that's what they're saying their instruction is. But they won't hit on the past performance or the past experience pieces that they clearly asked you for. So yeah, I'm just poking fun because this is a little out of organization, but they have done a fairly good job of telling you what needs to be included in the response. And then we have our wage determination here. So yeah, Mora Fire. I'll show it to you one more time. Mora Fire extinguisher inspection and testing. Good morning, Sarah B. out of LA. Thanks for hanging out with us. We got G. Hey, Derek. How to price the option years and contracts if we use. You definitely typically want to do some sort of escalation. Even if it's 3 to 5%, but you also want to ask the sub, if you're doing a legal middleman strategy, ask the sub to quote for escalation as well, because there is a thing called inflation. And if the economy is growing, we're going to have a slight rise in goods and services. But if we're looking at something that's a base plus 3 or 4 years, you're having to forecast out maybe sometimes 5 years in advance of what the same service is going to cost, right? And then contracting is going to ask you to give them that pricing now. So you'll need to account for that, and a modest 3 to 5% can kind of cover some general and administrative costs. But if there's more scope or industry specific things that you don't know, that's why you also want to double down and make sure whoever is quoting you for that too. Okay, so we'll go ahead and look at the hazardous waste removal one. It's for the VA. SDVOSB set aside 562112 NAICS code. This is out of Chicago. Okay, so the saying is base plus 5-year ordering period, so base plus 4. This is the Jesse Brown VAMC for anybody who's local. We got 2 wage determinations and a solicitation doc. Did I close it out? Yikes. Margaret, how would you find somebody? You just call around. There's lots of fire extinguisher maintenance companies. So if that's what you're doing, you're looking to sub it out, right? So we call that legal middlemaning. Because if you're going to have them do 100% of the work where you manage it, there's only certain occasions where you can do that within the regulations. And there's a certain way that you also need to do it. But yeah, you can just start on the Google Maps. Can you remind us the time frame is for an award to be announced? There is no time frame. It could be weeks, it could be months, it could be years. It depends on how large the opportunity is. The invalid date. I would just look at active opportunities. There's active and inactive, if that's what you're referring to. Just stick to opportunities that are active. So this is IDIQ, so indefinite delivery, definite quantity. In layman's terms, the government doesn't necessarily know exactly what the level of effort is going to be. They're going to rely on you, the experts, to propose on it. They are so here's the FAR 13.5, guys. Anybody who's in our LMM class right now would probably know the answer to this. What does FAR 13.5 simplified acquisition certain commercial items do? it raises the simplified acquisition threshold from 250K up to 7 million, which means if you're legal middlemaning in a way below simplified acquisition threshold on small business contracts, you're able to do that up to 7 million where FAR Part 13.5 exists. So we don't always see that, but this is also 100% SDVOSB set aside, so it kind of makes it a moot point because you will be working with a similarly situated entity or looking at self-performing 50% of the work. Because this is not a total small business set-aside contract. This is a SDVOSB set-aside contract. So you still have to meet those self-performance limitations or work with a veteran-owned company that would meet them. The money needs to go where it's supposed to go at a minimum amount, guys, 50% for services. If it's total small business, that totally changes the game, right? But this is not total small. So we got a pricing cleanse. So see, they're saying the minimum guarantee order is 5,000 and the max is $1 million per order. IDIQ, they don't know, right? It's almost similar, treating similar to like a BPA, where there's different orders and we don't know how much it's going to be. We just know it's not going to be below a certain amount or above a certain amount. So they want us to price out for corrosive, flammables, poison, oxidizer, hazardous, environmental hazards, waste preservatives, fluorescent lamps, mercury. Okay, lots of fun stuff going on here. They're giving you like the quantities of the packs and they're telling you how many they want you to price. And again, this is for the removal or the disposal of these. See here, almost half of the entire solicitation is pricing cleanse because there's like 36 different line items per year. And it looks like it's a base plus 4. So again, this is Chicago, as well as Crown Point, Indiana too. Again, they're estimating quantities here. POP, February 26th through January 31st of 2025, and that'll go through 2029. So again, nice stackable contract, everybody. So we got our reps and certs. Offers who fail to submit required information may not be eligible, right? You won't be compliant. So backing up, here's our instruction to offer. So they're telling us what's required in the proposal. They want price, specifically A through I. Okay, fill out blocks, acknowledge amendments, complete provisions, general liability insurance. So that's number one, actually. That's all number one. Number two, they want experience. Okay, so over the last 3 years, and then veteran-owned status verification. So to Raven's question, I thought this would have to be a person who's VA vetted. I'm not sure what you mean by VA vetted, but this would have to be SDVOSB set aside, right? So the company would have had to gone through that certification process. I don't know if you're referring to that as the vetting process, if you will. But yeah, this would have to be SDVOSB set aside, which means you as the prime has that, or you as the prime and a sub who also has that is doing that. Yeah, yep. So you're right. It has to be SDVOSB certified, 100%. So you can either do it all yourself, or at a minimum, you do 50% yourself and you can sub out the other 50% to whoever you want, right? Because you got to meet the self-performance limitations. Or you can give 100%, but it's going to have to go to another SDVOSB because they'll be considered a similarly situated entity. That way, the money's going still where it's supposed to go to support SDVOSB businesses. They just don't want you to give it to a non-SDVOSB company more than 50%. That way, at least half the money's sticking to where it's supposed to stick. Because the government's trying to pump money to support vets, right? So it's got to support vets at the end of the day. So yeah, spot on. Yep, so that's kind of what our response for this one is going to look like. I think we already answered that one. I'm a few weeks out from a proposal that I sent. Yep, your team's getting impatient. Yep, subs will get impatient. That's fine. Yeah, so I love to say that working with subs is like herding cats, right? It's like working with children. The way to do that is to set the expectation from the get-go. So this is a government contract. Government moves slowly, okay? So oftentimes subs get antsy and impatient because somehow you intentionally or unintentionally gave them kind of like the wrong idea, or you unintentionally made them feel like, okay, we're going to know something next week. And that often happens because you are new, so you don't even know. So you're setting a pace and a tone of like, okay, come on, hurry up. I need to get the proposal. Hurry up, right? And then it's like a hurry up and wait game. If you let them know how it's going to go from the get-go, and that comes with time, that, hey, it's like a 90-day window, or like at least a 60-day window, like they're not going to get antsy. When you see on a solicitation, it says the standard is 9.5. Can we still move towards it, seeing as a middleman, the threshold? So yeah, they're kind of unrelated things. Like the size standard is reflective of your business. So in order to remain a small business in accordance with whatever NAICS code has the size standard of 9.5 million, your revenues over a 3-year trailing average need to be below 9.5 million under that NAICS code awarded. Doesn't have anything to do with the SAT. The size standard indicates whether you're considered a small business or a large business for each NAICS code independently. Because if you've got like $100 million being awarded under a certain NAICS code, they're going to be like, hey, we're not going to give you any more money as a small business under this NAICS code because you've got so much already. And then if you go a couple of years and you don't do much or any or whatever under that NAICS code and it comes back down, then they'll be like, okay, you'll be able to play in the small business space again. So it's not like, you get kicked out like 8A or anything like that. Luxury card store. Love your videos. Do you still bid on contracts? I guess what is, I get this question sometimes. I do answer it a lot, but I'm always curious, like, what is the motivation behind the question? So feel free to let me know why you're asking. So this one's for key door entry upgrades at Holloman Air Force Base, New Mexico. February 29th, small business set aside 561621 security system services, Holloman Air Force Base. So they're giving us door system, install, and then training and support. So 3 different CLIN line items to price out. Going to be a relatively small job, right? But for somebody who is maybe local, who is into this sort of thing, could be a nice, like, easy contract to try to go after and get into. Work must be completed in 90 days after receipt of offer. Really straightforward. So they give me a bit of a scope: replace, load, program, install, right? Electrical power, pretty straightforward stuff for those who do this. Or if you're going to find a local company to do this, wouldn't be that difficult, right? So they do have a single source justification, sole source justification. They're saying, is this a bridge action? No. What are they telling us? I've determined that the circumstances of this contract deem only a single source is available. Christian Luveno, I believe staff sergeant. I don't see them giving it to a company. It sounds like they're citing a certain system that they want installed. But maybe not though. Efforts to obtain competition. Hirsch Identiv is the only identified system that will be compatible with the previously installed Hirsch controller. Hirsch was contacted and provided a list of authorized vendors. 3 businesses were registered on SAM, 2 small business, and 1 large. So they're doing a J&A to sole source this. So it's kind of interesting for you guys to see. We don't see these very often. But yeah, not really any reason to look at that any further because they are giving it to somebody. No reason. I was just curious. No, you didn't offend me. Not at all. Some people are like, hey, why are you making YouTube videos? Why aren't you bidding on contracts yourself? Or are you bidding on contracts yourself? For those of you who know my story, I don't bid on contracts anymore. When I left my job in 2018, I signed a 2-year non-compete. So I wasn't able to bid on contracts for 2 years. So I needed to do something to earn a living, essentially, right? Because I worked for a small business, made them a lot of money. I learned something very unique and niche, and I got very good at it. But then I wasn't able to do it for myself. Well, I'm like, well, that sucks. How can I still, use this to my advantage and to build a business anyways? So I started the YouTube channel, started making courses, started, putting the info out there. And then it started to take off and I never really looked back. So we do have these grounds services as well. We'll take a look at. This is due February 22nd. SDVOSB satisfied once again, Bloomington, Indiana. This is going to be for Mick Army. We've got a number of attachments: wage determination, drawings, OPSEC. And the solicitation, it looks like. Oh, my bad. I was in Internet Explorer. Silly me. So we got an SF-1449 form on this one. No site visits will be held for this. Once again, this is for ground services. We have a statement of work. So we do have our pricing cleanse, which will hopefully tell us something. Ground maintenance base year, 8 months, April through November. Army Reserve Facilities, actually a great customer. I've done a number of ground maintenance contracts myself with the National Guard and Army Reserve locations. Highly recommend it. So then we also have spring and fall cleanup for a base year, weed and feed for the base year, and then those will turn around and repeat for an option year 1, 2, 3, and 4. And they give us our nice pricing schedule here as well. Reps and certs. did not see anything in terms of our proposal response. Could be price only contract. It's kind of appears to be all that they're giving us. Yeah, so this is essentially going to be what they're looking for in a response. Mostly price only. Gives a whole new appreciation for why you do the videos. Yeah, appreciate that. I realized that there was a need in the space essentially because I was so frustrated. I didn't have any training. I was literally thrown into the deep end to figure this stuff out. I worked at a small business where it was just a revolving door. 90% of the people that were hired either quit or were fired. I was one of the few ones who actually stuck and made it. Then I started going through a lot of conferences, getting to meet a lot of other business owners in the space, right? And I was winning a lot of contracts. I won 32 contracts worth over 15 million by my 30th birthday for the company that I worked for. And I did okay for myself, but I did very well for them. And then through all my interactions and conversations, seeing these folks a couple times a year at conferences, so they're business owners, having still not won or done much, I just realized what is the difference here? And the difference was, well, get into my story. I won't get into it now, but I was in a unique position where I literally had to make things work. I was truly behind a rock and a hard place, and check out my story to learn more about what that looked like. But I had to dive deeper into this stuff and learn it myself. And I passed on my peers because of that. And I'm also a very slow learner, and I have a really hard time, learning as well. So once I got a really good grasp with this, and I excelled for the company, and then I left because things got too political. I decided to try to do something that was going to support me by helping so many others in the space that I know are going to struggle with the same exact stuff that I struggle with. And hopefully they don't have to go through the same hardship that I had to go through by being through such a hard place to figure it out. Maybe we could make it, a little bit easier to share some of the lessons learned. So, Margaret, what is a wage termination? It's the minimum amount that you have to pay people, or people have to be paid to work on a federal contract. Would it be weird if you were a contractor and lost the bid to work out to the contractor awarded the bid, who was the middleman to do the work? Yeah, contact the incumbent. It's not weird. It happens. So guys, I'm gonna actually have to call this short because I'm not feeling well, unfortunately. So great episode, great questions, short one. Definitely check out the book, check out the free master class. A lot of great stuff updated for 2024. Check that out. And we'll go ahead and see you guys in the next one. Take care.